touching your skin. The love is right. Let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. And it's worse you for that I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I'll think it's absurd, but until then you'll leave your words. But lay on, lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies, the lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, you say that you are innocent, but your words, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies, the lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, oh you have reached your lover's end. No more will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. Oh, we had nothing to fight for. 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 was never enough. No, never enough. Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. Disregarding your name, your smell is all that remains. They say you're an SLUT, but that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. I remembered what you'd say. We're all looking to be alone. Somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Till then, you'll still be a boy.
Good afternoon, race fans. It's Pirate here, and we are here with the International Racing Organisation, Bolex 6hrs of Daytona. This is stint number 3 coming up. We are still with dulcet tones of the wonderful Jaeger on stint 2, and I'm going to try something a little bit different. I've just got to fix something very quickly, and then I'm going to try something that's either going to go horribly wrong, or you're all going to make the noise like those little aliens out of Toy Story. Oh, should we try it? Here we go. I'm going to try it now. Ready? Ready for this? Hand over cam. I think it's working. So there you can see on the left hand side, that's stint 2. You can listen to that footage, of course, by watching on YouTube channel. I didn't have time to upload the video as well. I'm not that smart or that quick, and that's live there. So we should see when Gecko Racer comes into the pits. I believe Gecko Racer is. I think I'm on the right cars. I could be wrong. And we could be watching the wrong people go out. But I'm going to give it a whack anyway, and we'll see what happens. Looking forward to this though. This is going to be awesome. Very, very, very big thank you to DJ Brohawk, and we'll give him some love during this race for the opening stint and for qualifying. Very well done, my friend. And of course, the ever effervescent, the ever knowledgeable Jaeger, the man with all the facts for stint number 2. Done a wonderful job. And I've got to say, it was touch and go. Ray will confirm it was squeaky bum time for me. But earlier I had a hospital appointment this morning. I was there at 8:45 this morning, and if you're in the UK, you know that now it's like 5 o'clock. It got to like 2 o'clock, and I still hadn't been called in, and I was shitting myself. And I messaged Ray and said, like, I'm not able to make this, you know. And then I said to my missus, I'm just going to walk out, I'm going to come home and do the broadcast. And she told me she would actually hospitalise me if I didn't stay for the appointment. Turns out, anyway, they called me at 10 o'clock, and either the guy didn't say my name properly or I didn't hear it for whatever reason. And they basically just let me sit there for 4 hours rather than phone and find out where I was. The first that I found out they did that when they phoned me at 2:15. I said, are you here? Yes. So I should have been home at like midday, plenty of time to get all this. So the fact that I'm here and ready to go is it's a fucking miracle, in fairness. Right, so it's been an awesome 4 hours of racing thus far. We've seen Evo demonstrating yet again his absolute super prowess with a race car. Anyone that watched AHR versus RA last night, or I versus AHR, depending on which side you're on, will know that Evo was just absolutely dominant. I don't think there's a Gran Turismo driver on the planet that could have beaten Evo yesterday. And today he demonstrated just why he has that absolute superb power from him. Right, so Gecko Racer is into the pit. So I'm assuming this is handover time. So here he comes. If he's coming in, yeah, lap 67. So in he comes. So we should see, this should be smooth handover. Let's see if it works. So there on the left-hand side, Gecko Racer coming in. Sorry about that. We're not seeing Gecko Racer come in, but hang on. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong car. It should have been that one. Sorry. Oh, I thought it was the 404 car. It's not. It's the 404 car. Sorry, Nick. Almost got it right. There we go. So there's that. So there we go. Nick out on the track. So we can. I'm not going to stay on this because it involves me probably there. Let's go here and here and here. Boom. Smoother than a cashmere codpiece. And we're on. Right, so Nick, first car out on track. He's going to get the first little bit of love. The gap is quite significant at the moment. We'll go through the runs and riders as they come out. Jack, so it is. To be sure. So we've got Nick in the number 1 AHR car. That's the Barry Bucket. That's the Barry Cocker. I could pay more attention. Jack, so it is. Anyway, but that's the gap. So if Jack wants to win this race, he has got 2 of your finest British hours, or 65 racing laps, to close 40 seconds on Nick. As Gomez, the Portuguese driver, comes out for ORT. He's got an 18-second gap behind Jack. So it's 16 seconds then to Larry Birch, who's out now for Apex. Billy for ART. He picks up the mantle from Wooly. A great run, by the way, by Bonnie Val in the first stint. So it's down to Beardy now to bring it on home in that Mustang Sally. Hands up for Race Asylum. Or a Race Asylum driver. It's the Popper and Black. So hands up in a sixth moment, 8.8 seconds. The Ghost, he is out as well. That's 5.6 seconds. That gap. Next to come out will be DJ Brohawk. He's out on track now in the AHR. Let's do quick, nice and fair. And of course, the greatest car driver in the greatest car that ever graced the IRO. It's the Black Flag Racing's very own Starboard from Wales. Honour is our next 0.1 seconds. That's Starboard from Wales. Why is he going? Maybe he wasn't supposed to come out then. He's done his one stint on the hards and got rid early doors. I make no secret, I don't like this one lap on the hard. I think if you have to run a set of tyres like this, there should be a number of racing laps on it. 5, 6, 7, 10 laps, something like that. In one racing lap. Then what's the point of running? What's the point of having it? So honour and 10th, we've got Ternecki in 11th. That is the... I should have memorised this, but my volume is quite low, is it? That better? Hang on. Let me fiddle. My kids were mucking around with my computer earlier. There we go. Hi, by the way indeed. How you doing, DJ? There we go. I'll tell you what I do need to do. I do need to go on to the other broadcast so I can see the chat, baby. So I can see you guys are chatting to me. And please don't point out it says stint 2 on the thumbnail. I'll fix it. Hansa, how you doing? Jay, how you doing? Simon Orford. I now know your proper name after last night. Ray, I made it. Kings and Slugsy, welcome. I've been looking forward to this for a while, actually, to be fair. Or in fact, when I thought I wanna be ninja, when I thought it wasn't going to happen today, I genuinely was a little bit gutted. Right, Pastina from the DCT team. He's at 35 seconds in 12th place. Albuquerque for NRT. He's a minute back. And Toto Wolf not the real one. Here he comes onto the track, repping in the Moosehead car. No, I'm okay, Ray. Well, all it was, I don't know if you heard earlier, but I've had an allergic. It turns out I'm actually allergic to penicillin, and I didn't know this. I don't know how they manage. I've managed to go 40 years and not find out that I'm allergic to penicillin. Apparently, it's like large amounts of it, and I've been taking copious amounts of antibiotics for a couple of months. But yeah, it turns out I am allergic to penicillin, and so I've had to change drugs and all that. And yeah, well, long story short, I'm covered in shit and I've got to take steroids. Anyway, moving swiftly on. But I'm all right. My brain works. That's the main thing. Nick is 43 seconds clear. Now, when Jack So It Is came out of the pits, the gap was 40 seconds. And already Nick has shaken off some of the demons from the team versus team last night and started to put in blistering that times. 1:45.8 already. Now, I should have paid a little bit of attention to the previous stints. To be fair, I did watch the stints for the most part, sitting in the hospital and when I got home. But, it's not the easiest thing to do. So Nick is in the lead at the moment. It's 43.1 seconds for Race Asylum in that 44 car. Jack So It Is, is 43 seconds back. He's got a back marker just in front of him. I'm not sure who that is. We'll have a look in a sec. But we will have a good look through. We're not going to do a long chat about Daytona and the track and all that. Bro Hawk's done it. He's the American. He's the expert on the tri-oval road track. And Jaeger, we know, is the wealth of knowledge on everything racing. So they've given you all the flavor. I'm just here to look pretty. Yeah, if I looked pretty, I'd have a camera up, wouldn't I? That's why I have the voice for radio. Larry Birch in third. Any potential battles? Well, it's only 3 seconds between Gomez and Larry Birch. Bear in mind that Gomez has already got rid of his hard compound size. So he has a good stint to run here now without worrying too much about getting rid of those. No, you're right, Steve. Nick is a monster when he gets going. Last night, just didn't really work out for him, that team versus team. A couple of little mistakes, and he was saving himself for this. You Pay, how you doing, man? Sorry I didn't get back to you. I don't know if you heard, I had a little delay with some stuff today. If you weren't aware, I am going to do a little thing where I'm going to invite some of you guys, if you want to come and join me on the comms and have a little chat. I'm not going to do it yet because I have to be in the right mindset to talk to human beings. I need to sort a couple of bits out, but we'll get people in one by one and we'll have a little chat. Maybe talk about how your race went, talk about how you feel it's going for your teammates, so on and so forth. And we'll do that throughout the next couple of hours. I will announce when that is happening. Gomez in fourth place. I do want to pop something out then, but. I didn't mean it how you think I meant it. Hope the monster finds a wall. That's one way of cheering on somebody. Yeah. To be fair, TJ, it wasn't hugely profitable in the nurses' stake, shall we say, today. We were a little bit light on the brighter of our nursing community in the NHS today. Yeah, it wasn't great. Right. Anyway, let's have a good full run through, shall we? So 44.5 seconds. Nick is not only managing the race already. Honor's putting the fastest lap of the race so far with a 45.7, but Nick isn't concerned with what other people are doing. He isn't concerned at the moment with lap times. His big concern right now is to maintain that gap to Jack So It Is. I'm so annoyed that his name is Jack So It Is and he hasn't got an Irish flag next to his name. He must be Irish, man. He must be, surely. Larry Birch, another 42 seconds back to him. And we said that he was going to be all over him, and he's already there. He's already all over the back of Larry Birch as Gomez after getting rid of his hard compound size. I think the only driver that did so, I wasn't really paying attention, to be fair. I don't really do that very often, as you well know. But here he goes. He's looking around the outside, but He's not going to let it go that easily, is Gomez from Apex. Into that bus stop chicane, muscles his way through, and makes it very, very clear to Larry Birch that it's Portugal 1, United States of America 0 already. There we go. Good move by Gomez. So, can Larry Birch come back at him? He's in that slipstream now. He's going to get that little tug down the straight. 14.7 seconds back to Ghost from the Netherlands. Hence the .nl next to his name and the Dutch flag. I do apologise. They're supposed to have taken their keys with them. Sorry. I do apologise for that. It was my daughter's 9-year-old daughter's friends knocking on the door. She's not even bloody here. Anyway, sorry. They should know the key's not in the door. She's not here. You're right, Baz. Absolutely. I'm going to be brutally honest. I haven't heard much of the commentary today. I've had other things on my mind. But yeah, I mean, brilliant from Brohawk at the beginning. I listened to the first hour quite intently, and of course I listened to the last hour with Jager, who's been fabulous. Right, Beardy, he's lost the place when he's down to 6th. Now I think Body Val handed over the reins to Wooly. He was in 2nd. Wooly fought valiantly to hold on into that top 5, and Beardy now got to bring this home from 6th position. 17 seconds to the Ghost just up ahead. Hansa in the other RA car. He is 9 seconds behind Beardy. Is he able to close down? Well, I'm looking there at lap times. Beardy in those mid 148s. Hansa low 148s, not too much quicker. So we are essentially going to see a gap not really changing unless one or the other starts to really put the hammer down. We know Honor behind has been super, super quick. And that gap... Did I say Honor instead of Honor? I do apologise. Honor from Canada in the Mustang. He's 5.4 seconds behind the German Hunter. And going pretty darn quickly as well. I'm talking to the IRO chat, mate. Watching the IRO chat and talk to me in there, it's easier to monitor just one chat. Much, much easier. There's Wiggy from Black Flag, the greatest racing team in the history of motor racing. Probably. Yeah, so Wiggy is running just 1.5 behind Honor, and he's lapping about the 147, mid 147s. We'll have a look at some tyres and all that in a minute. Yeah, we will. So we will. Jack, so it is. There's DJ Brohawk with that, just serving a 1 second penalty there. He's 13.6 behind Wiggy. That'll be a faster car going past him there. He's 2 minutes 32. So that's one of the front runners just coming past him. Turnek 1, 2, 3, the Belgian driver. Albuquerque is in the pits. What's he doing? He's getting rid of some hard compounds, I think. He is indeed. He's getting rid of some hard compound tyres. Toto Wolff, not the real one. He's 19 seconds back, so he should gain this position while Albuquerque's in the pits. It's going to be interesting to see how the strategies play out, particularly for the front runners. We'll have a look at tyres and fuel actually while we're talking about it. So here we go. This is what we've got in a minute. We've got Nick out in the lead. The lead. I've lost the ability to speech today. The ability to speech. Nick is in the lead, 46.4 seconds. He currently leads by on those medium compound tyres. Jack, so it is, also running the medium compounds. You would imagine we're going to see much more of the mediums than we are of the hard, certainly. And the softs will be kept for the big chase downs. But Jack, so it is, maintaining that 45-46 second gap. But either side. So he's not really got anyone to race with at the minute. Nick, of course, is in the same position, but he's out in the lead. Jack Soadis has got two He's got Car this side. He's got Nick ahead 46 seconds. He's got Gomez behind 45 seconds. We saw Gomez get himself back up into third. He's one of those cars that's already done his one solitary lap on the hard compound tyres and got rid. He's just done a 46.9. He is on the racing soft tyres. So the first of the top three, or the first of the front runners on those softs. The Ghosts on the mediums. Larry Birch, he's also gone for the medium compound tyres. Mediums also for Beardy of ART. Hands are running on those mediums. Honor on the mediums, as is Wiggy, as is Brohawk, as is Ternecki. Pastina is on those racing softs. So you'd imagine he will be closing that 5.1 second gap on Ternecki. Pastina running for DCT about 46 lows at the moment. Ternecki is in those low 147, so about second lap. So he needs to get a bit of a hurry on while those tyres are still fresh. Get that move done, although Ternecki will stay out that little bit longer. And that's one of the back markers I think he's coming up behind, and that'll be Toto Wolff, not the real one, maybe. Should we have a look? Where are we? Yeah, that's Toto Wolff, not the real one. So Albuquerque, sorry, Albuquerque at the back of the pack, just there for the NRT team. So just being lapped there. So it's lap 8 for Albuquerque in 14th. Meanwhile, lap 11 for Nick out in the lead, still maintaining that gap. They were talking about the liveries earlier, and I think they're worth having another look at, because with the way the light is, they are looking pretty darn awesome. So this is the McLaren 650S for the 44 Race Asylum team. Their trademark black and copper, and some white on that as well. But no, really, really awesome looking liveries. Some really hot shit work has gone into these cars. Jack Soaders for AHR, very similar to the Race Asylum colours, but they've gone for a more golden approach. Very, very similar for Apex Hunter Racing in the 404 car. Great little battle between those two respective teams last night in the team versus team. Of course, Race Asylum came out on top. For ORT, the lovely black and red Lexus livery there for the number 20 car, driven by Gomez. The Ghost, he's in the lead CLR car, Community League Racing, number 22 car. From the Netherlands is the Ghost, of course, you can tell because he's got a flag next to his name, and they are in the Mustang. Look at the back of that, look at the bouncing on the back of that car. That is some poor boy sing. Boingy, boingy, boingy. Larry Birch, you can see the bounce, it's beautiful. The way the detail in that bounce as the car gets up to speed on these straights for the Apex Racing test. Not to be mistaken for Apex Hunter Racing. Apex Racing and Apex Hunter Racing, two completely different cars. One United States based and one based in the UK. I do love these Apex Racing liveries though. That skull on the side is freaking awesome. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Also with the High Pre logo on the back as well. I'm assuming that High Pre is the designer of their livery. Do check out High Pre there. They do some awesome designs and stuff, man. It's crazy. Recognisable from 100 miles away is the paint job of the Amigos Racing Team. The trademark blue and yellow that you see on every ART car. And Beardy's still running there in 6th place. Gap is 5.4. A great British seconds in the 222 car. Honor in the second of the CLR cars. They're also running in that Mustang. But you see hands are behind, really getting close to him now. This is a bit of a battle going on. And to be fair, Wiggy as well has closed that gap. Looking on board from this beautiful, beautiful Porsche 911 designed by our very own Stint 1 driver, Slipstream. Thing of beauty. Star Groot is sporting the Black Flag Porsche 911 livery 2023. Can be found in our summer-winter collection. There we go, awesome. Battle up ahead, Hansa versus Honor. It's getting closer, 1.8 between Wiggy and Hansa. The gap between Hansa and Honor, though, just 1 second. He wants to get back in that slipstream range. All important for Honor to really use the power of that Mustang out of the bus stop chicane and not allow Hans to close within slipstream range. That's when it gets really, really dangerous. As the light fades, you can see the sparks on the cars up ahead. It's a thing of absolute beauty. And Honor does get a great run out of the bus stop chicane, as does Wiggy. So Hans are losing some time to Wiggy. And losing time to Honor. So he's going backwards towards the black flag driver. And that's not something he'll want to do. I did say that. I said Slippy, didn't I? I said Slippy. Yeah, he did. Are you pimping him out? Are you pimping out our slipstream for livery work elsewhere? DJ Brohawk, my brother from another mother, my commentary brother from another mother and another country as well. I thought he was from the United States, but he does have a British flag there. I think he runs on 2 servers, which is the confusing thing. Yeah, it is really weird. That is not a race for track position. That is a back marking movement. So the car ahead, that's I don't know who that is, but I could put a thing up, but I'm going to. Pasadena for DCT in the beautiful looking, but an absolute bitch to handle Ford GT. As long as you don't have to brake or go around a corner, it's one of the best cars on the game. And he's coming up behind. I think that'll be Toto Wolff, not the real one. I think just ahead of him. Taniki for Gran Turismo Sport. I don't know what the V stands for. Whatever it is. He is 2.2 seconds behind Pastina. They've got one of the front runners sandwiched in between them at the moment. So a bit of an interesting battle. That they want to obviously get out of the way. They're going to have blue flags and they're going to want to get out of the way. But they don't want to compromise their own race. They've got a race on themselves. He wants to close up on the back of Pastina. Pastina wants to close on the back of Brohawk. And Pastina obviously wants to pull away from all of these guys as well. But Taniki at the moment, you can see there, he is chasing down Pastina. Pastina's trying to get some slipstream from one of the front runners ahead of him. Not give up too much to the car behind, because he's giving up slipstream to essentially his competitor. So he's got to be really, really careful here on how he lets everyone through. Of course, Albuquerque, they're running in 13th, and Toto Wolff, not the real one, running in 14th. But back to the leaders, and it's R.A. Nick still leading the way, 47 seconds clear. Fastest lap of the race at the moment with Pastina with a 45.2. That'll be that lovely bit of slipstream he's picking up at the moment back there, which is helping him, of course, stay ahead of Taniki. 45.5 fastest lap for Nick at the moment. But he for him now, it's about consistency and tyre and fuel management. He was given the job of bringing the car home, but you've got to bear in mind his teammates did the work. They kind of opened up the gap for him and gave him the honour of that at 47, or it was 40 seconds when he came out of the pits lead, which for him, he's just got to build on that a little bit and just make sure that Jack, so it is, doesn't find a way to start closing that gap. We are only 15 laps into the 67 here for this final stint for the 6 hours of Daytona. So anything can happen, and there's still a lot of pit stops to go, there's still a lot of corners to go, there's still a lot of potential mistakes that can happen. And stop shouting about commentator's curse. Doesn't exist. There's no such thing as commentator's curse. If I've watched you crash, it's because I had the foresight to know you were going to. Jack, so it is, has not got the Irish flag next to his name, which annoys me immensely with a name like that. I think he should change it to Jack in the Box or something until he can get an Irish flag. But he's doing well. He's opening up the gap from Gomez behind, the Portuguese driver. But he's not making much inroads into Nick. He is running a similar sort of lap time in the 45, the high 45s. And they're both, of course, still on those medium compound tyres. We'll get rid of those now. We don't want to give away too much information to the opposing teams. Gomez, He dispatched the Ghost pretty quickly. He was the only driver, I think, to get rid of the hard combat tyres after just one lap of racing. Dispatched the Ghost pretty quickly after that to get back up into third. The gap at the moment between him and the Ghost is 14.3 seconds. The one big advantage he has over the two cars ahead of him is he doesn't have to run hard compound tyres anymore, as he just dispatches with another one of those back markers. Larry Birch, 20 seconds is the gap to the Ghost, with lap times that are not anywhere near closing the gap. And what it actually looks like at the moment, in those low 47s, the Ghost is rocking in the 46.3s at the moment on those medium tyres. But it does mean that Beardy, and I think actually Larry Birch has recently been into the pits, by the looks of things. So Beardy running in 6th. He has got Honor all over the back of him. Looks like Honor is going to make the move here as we move round towards the completion of lap 14, start of lap 15. And it's made to look so easy around here, but the slipstream is so strong. It's such a long straight here at Daytona that you can pick up such great traction in the what would usually be dirty air of the car behind. Then of course the big problem of course for Beardy now is that he picks up the back of Honor's car in the dirty air through the tricky road course section, where you don't really get the same benefit of being tucked in behind the car, getting tucked in with that slipstream. You've got to kind of deal with the dirty air, get your car slowed down, make those turns, make I'll try and make the overtakes if you can. He's going to want to close as quickly as possible on the back of the Canadian when they come out of this section back onto the tri-oval. And already Honor has increased that gap to 1.3 seconds. So not returning the slipstream favour to Beardy. So that battle is done for the time being. The question, of course, is Honor with Honor lapping in the mid 45s and Larry Birch only in those low 47s. It's only a matter of time before that 5.6 second gap becomes an overtaking opportunity. And I imagine we'll be looking at those two battling out for the top 5 in probably about 3 or 4 laps time once Honor catches on to the back of Larry Birch. He hasn't got the benefit of the slipstream that he had behind Beardy, but he is looking pretty darn racy already and has already opened up the gap to 2.1 seconds. In 8th position, that is Star Groot, or Wiggy as he's otherwise known. Hansa's still there behind him. Hansa in 9th position is beating down that door and trying to find a way through to get round Star Groot. Not quite close enough to benefit from the slipstream this time. He's getting a little bit, but not enough to make an overtake. And as we head into this road section, if he wants to stand any chance of benefiting from some slipstream, he's going to need to use this infield section to close up that gap. This is where the Porsche actually is the strongest. It's not great on the straights. It's not got the best high-end speed, and certainly not great through the higher gears. But through this little infield section, where you need some really pinpoint accurate braking and some great apexing and some cornering speed, the Porsche is very, very strong. So we should be able to keep a decent gap when they come back out onto the tri-oval in just a couple of corners' time. And hopefully that Hansa's not got a good run on him, but he is doing a really, really good job at the moment in that Race Asylum car. Really, really good job. And as they come out, the gap is just under a second, so he's getting a little bit, but again not enough. You can see there that towards the end of that road section, the 911 just so much stronger, and that's absolutely what you need if you want to stay ahead. But of course, Wiggy's job will be trying to close that 6 second gap. Or what was it, 6 seconds? Yeah, 5.3 second gap to Beardy of Amigos up ahead. Very Race Asylum heavy though, isn't it? All those lovely teams and communities. I'm only joking. DJ Brohawk from the United States of America. Fuck yeah. 34 seconds. Bit of no man's land at the minute. Yeah, they do a great rotation around corners, you're absolutely right. But as I said, absolute dog shit on the straights. We were just a little bit late to the party with registering, despite knowing when it was going to happen and seeing the thing come up. So we ended up with the dog shit that was left at the end. Could car? This is an interesting question because obviously you have a limited amount of each car available for choosing, and it's first come first served. If teams get knocked out qualifying, could those cars not go back into the pot for those that qualified to choose from? Potentially. Question mark, dot to the management. Brohawk 17 seconds ahead of Pastina Cala for DCT, the Italian driver. Always there or there, but always putting in some really solid laps. Taniki, it is pronounced Taniki, isn't it? I'm assuming so. Well, that's what I'm calling it. He is he coming to unlap himself by the looks of things? 5.9 behind Pastina. At the moment, lapping a little bit slower, not going to find a way through. There's some blue flags knocking about for some cars at the minute. Albuquerque will be one of those getting a blue flag, back in 13th position. And his teammate, Toto Wolff, not the real one, is 23.9 seconds behind for NRT. And you can say what you like, they might be 13th or 14th in this race. But you've got to bear in mind, 22 teams entered the qualifying for this 6 hours at Daytona, and only 14 were successful. So when you look at it from that perspective, even finishing in 13th and 14th place here is a massive achievement, because there are 8 teams that couldn't make the cut. And I know that in qualifying itself, it was so very, very close between the getting in and not getting in. There was very little in it. I could look up and thingy. But no, it is. I mean, as you say, Ray, it's looking... CLR looking strong, so are RA, so are Apex Hunter Racing. They're all looking pretty darn good. Nick at the moment is dominating. But, you know, we've still got plenty of racing to go. Anything can happen. And Nick did demonstrate last night. It doesn't matter how quick you are. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. And one little mistake, one little error. We saw James last night get his pit strategy so wrong, and went from being potential winner. I actually don't, to be fair, I don't think he would have beat Evo. If he'd not had to pit, he wouldn't have beat Evo. Evo was so quick last night. But he certainly went from a potential top 3 to nowhere to be found, just because of one little error of the pits. So easy enough for it to happen. And the gap has now dropped down to 39 seconds. It was 40 when this stint began. Nick pulled it right out to 46 seconds. Jack, so it is, has now closed that gap up quite significantly. And I tell you what is quite interesting as well is we are looking at the pit window coming up now, essentially for pretty much everyone that didn't pit, you know, in the first few laps, because it's fuel running out time. So if you are running those medium compound tyres, you get to get rid of them soon and put some softs on. If you're running the softs, then tough, you're going to have to get rid and put something else on. Yes, I second that, the vest. Great comms from Jager, always is, very knowledgeable. Actually has facts, doesn't just... I see Brohawk, very, very good. Knows a lot about the track and stuff, knows a lot about the cars. Jager, again, knows a lot about the racing stuff. And then I come along and I basically just talk bollocks for 2 hours, and you somehow asked me to come and do it again. So that, I love broadcasting with those guys, because those guys give you the meat and the bones and the important stuff, and then I come along and undo all their good work with just waffling absolute tosh. So Jack Sellers has given himself a job to do, and he's starting to do that job quite well. He's starting to reel in Nick, and he's pulling away from Gomez, which is exactly what he needs. He wants to make sure that if something does happen, the car running in third, Gomez, who is the only car, or sorry, one of only a couple of cars that doesn't have to run the hard compound tyres anymore, he's made sure he's done what he needs to do to keep him at bay. Now, if you consider the Gomez behind him is actually on the soft compound tyres, having already pit out of the hards. That's a great achievement for Jack. So it is a great achievement. So it is. the Ghost. He's not much of a ghost because I can see him. He's right there. He's in fourth. He's 13.6. The driver from the Netherlands behind Gomez for CLR. Running really well, CLR. Running in fourth and in fifth at the moment. Separated by just 23 seconds. That's Wiggy into the pits from those ninth place on those racing mediums. That's going to give Hamza the breather that he was hoping for. And Hamza going to move further up through the field. He's on the mediums as well. He's done a really good job, Hamza, actually, of looking after those tyres incredibly, the fuel, incredibly well in that Lexus. It really hasn't used too much fuel at all. In all honesty, Sven, as far as I'm aware, they just started late, started a little bit later. DJ Brohawk coming at ya like Cleopatra. 25 seconds to Hamza on those soft compound tyres. He's recently pit, so he's going to be racy for a bit, and you can see how racy he is because he's just done a 45.2. Fastest lap of the race. What is there anything this guy can't do? He can commentate, he can broadcast, and he can drive. It's not fair. Broadcasters aren't supposed to be able to drive. That's why we're broadcasters. That's why I'm a broadcaster, because I can't drive. Stop being good at other things too. Hate you. But not in that way. So Nick into the pits for his first stop. 39 seconds is the gap, so it is. Jack will be following him, so he will. Without a question of a doubt. Tyres and fuel. Let's have a little look. You can see why he's coming in. He got no fuel. You can see why he's going to be coming in. He got no fuel either. Gomez will stay out for a bit. He's on the racing soft. But that rear right-hand tyre looking a little bit ropey for the Portuguesa in the Lexus. The Ghost, he'll be pitting this lap as well for CLR. As I imagine, will his teammate? No, he won't. Where is his teammate? His teammate's gone. His teammate gone. His teammate's pit, actually. Larry Birch, he has pit a little bit earlier. So he's going to run for a little bit longer in this race with, 21 laps into the 67. We're nearly at 1/3 point already, man. What the flip? What the fudge? Beardy still running in 6th. Very comfortably in 6th at the moment. 10 seconds behind Larry Birch. Hamza's got 6.9 behind him. In terms of pit strategy, very similar for the pair of those. Maybe a little bit better on the tyres for Hamza. But, yeah, I think Beardy might come in a lap earlier than Hamza does there. Honour for CLR. He's done his pit. He's back out. Nice full tank of fuel. He's going to run those soft compound tyres until he's running on fumes and get it chucked back into the pits. All the way from Canada. 3.1 seconds to DJ Brohawk, of course. Wiggy back out in 10th place. 14th place. I was just about to say, who's in 14th place? As he comes out in 10th place. Blue flags for the black flag driver. Should be black, my friend. They should be black. Who is the blue? Who's the blue flag benefiting? I wonder. Let's scroll through and find out. It's Jack, so it is. They both went into the pits. And actually, Nick underfueled a little bit from the pits. They've swapped strategies now. Interesting. Nick has opted to go for the soft compound tyre. So he set his stall out. So Nick has decided he wants a bigger gap. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to go hammer time now and open up that gap from Jack. So it is, so he will. And Jack, so it is going for the medium. So he's he's playing the longer game. He wants to be racy later and chase down Nick for the win. And we've seen it happen. I remember, if anyone remembers back to the final stint at the ERF Nürburgring race, where what was a huge gap going into the final stint turned out to be a second place for the team with the huge gap. I can't remember who it was, to be honest. Memory like a sieve. Gamer's still running third. There's not been many changes on track, is there? It's kind of the same old, really, isn't it? And there he is, the man himself from Sim League Pro. How the bloody hell are you? It's been a while. I haven't seen you for a bit. But yeah, you're right. Great comms from Jager. He deserves all the praise. Give that man a laptop and he can use some overlays, man. That'd be awesome. Larry Birch. Trying to find where there's a battle somewhere. We've got a potential battle here between the Ghosts. We've got the Ghost running on those mediums. He's back out. He's just 2.7 ahead of Hansa. Hansa doing a steady 147.8. So kind of high 47s. He'd have a bad lap with a 49.6. But bear in mind, of course, that the Ghost has already been into the pits. Hansa has not. So any overtake he makes is mute. And it really is going to kind of dive. It says you can't reply on videos made for children. It's not made for children. At least it shouldn't be. I will have a look because it shouldn't have been classified for children. Because if it has been, it's going to get deleted as soon as it finishes. Because of the swearing. And there is very, very strict guidelines on making videos for children. If it's made for children, you have to make it as kiddie content. So it wouldn't accept a game with adults driving in it as content for children. So yeah, I will have a look at that. I imagine there's something in the settings of the video. I certainly didn't set it that way, but we know. I'll see if I can sort that out in a bit, actually, because that's something that might need solving relatively quickly, I would have thought. See if I can do it now. Find out why it's not letting you talk, because it says it's made for children. It says clearly here, no, it's not made for kids. Do not restrict my video to view. Oh, yes, restrict my video to view. No. So we don't want to age restrict it, but it's not made for kids. So you should be able to view the video unless you've done something naughty and been banned. I don't know why it's not allowing you to. Let's do that and save it. So in answer to your question, TJ, I don't know why it's not letting you talk and saying that you can't reply on videos made for children, because it's not made for children. I knew I hadn't set it that way because it makes things complicated. I've lost my chat box. Where's my chat box gone? Hello. It's back. It's back. Right. Has he put in fastest lap yet? No, he has not. That honour goes to Honour, the Canadian, with a 44.7. Can someone enlighten me what has been the fastest lap so far? I'm sure one of you knowledgeable lot know what is the current time to beat overall. You can even put your answer on a postcard and send it to PO Box. I really don't care that much. /London. Or you can just post it here in the chat and then I can try and work it out for myself. If anyone could beat it. Jack, so it is. The gap to Gomez had come down somewhat after the pit stop. But Gomez into pits now. 44.4 something, but that was slip assisted. Which slip assisted, it counts whether it's slip assisted or not. It still bloody counts. So maybe we'll see one of these guys, not necessarily the front three because they're quite well separated. Could we possibly see one of these guys outside the top three nick a 44.3 maybe? I think it's going to be a difficult one to beat. I mean, 44.4. I mean, 44.7's bloody quick round here. You'd be lucky if I got 48.1 on soft compound tyres. But that's a story for another day. But thanks for that. It's Stroke, isn't it? Stroik. I know Jaeger. I missed the bit of the last broadcast where Jaeger was trying to get your name right. I'm going with Stroke. Because everyone likes a stroke, don't they? Obviously not the one that makes your face all droopy, the other kind. Right. Let's have a look at the guys. Let's have a look at the guys running down the order a little bit. Toto Wolff, not the real one, is 5 minutes behind the leader. He is 25 seconds behind Albuquerque. I might do. Is that how long ago it was? 44.6, James. That's pretty darn quick. I've got to ask James. You're in the chat, right? I've got to ask the question. I don't know if you've watched the broadcast from last night. What were you thinking at Watkins Glen, man? So you obviously you had the brain fart when you went in on lap 7 instead of the end of lap 8, right? But why didn't you just stay out on the softs for a bit and then come in later and do the softs, do the sort of lap on those mediums later on, or lap on the whole whatever? Well, yeah, it was medium size, wasn't it? Why not just run on the softs instead of pitting like 3 times, man? What happened? I can only assume that you just went, I don't know what to do now. I've completely miscounted. Yeah, stroke. You know what might be a good idea, mate. Or just tell me how to pronounce it and I'll try and get it right. I won't. The thing is, I'm going to deliberately call you Stroke now because that's what I've decided. I've decided your name is Stroke. Oh, you didn't feel you didn't have enough fuel at the start. You started on 75%, though, didn't you, on those tyres? Okay, I see your point. I see your point, yeah. I didn't really pay that much attention to that side of it. I was still trying to work out why you pit 172 times in the first 7 laps. Unlucky though, mate. I'd like to say we've all done it, but I've never been quick enough to throw away a potential win. Certainly not against guys like you a lot. Albuquerque running 25 seconds ahead of his team at the moment. Taniki a good 1 minute up the road as Hansa goes into the pits. Then press don't refuel. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. So essentially, James, it wasn't just one pit cock up. It was a series of pit cock ups, one after the other. It was I'm assuming like the initial panic set in. Shit, I'm in on the wrong lap, and then you did medium soft on a one-stop race. Yeah, brilliant job. It did look a bit weird. I know, I saw it. Quite funny that. So Taniki at the moment is dealing with moving out of the way for some of those faster drivers. He's trying to make with his, what's his lap times at the moment? He's doing 47 low to 46 low to 47 low. He lost a little bit there. Struick. I will get it. Or is it Strike? Strick? Steve. Right. Anyway, back to the racing, shall we? Back to the racing. 46.1s is his capability, but we've got for mid 45s, low 46s for Pastina Calda. Has Nick binned it yet? Shall we have a look? I don't think he has. I think Nick is. I reckon Nick's probably got 2 or 3 more tenths in him. But after last night, he is staying away from the curbs just to be certain. He doesn't want to do it again. So no, he hasn't. He's opened the gap a little bit, 49 seconds from Jack. So it is, who has opened up from Gomez to almost a minute, and that's Jack. So is just coming past the most beautiful 911 in racing history, designed by Slipstream of Black Flag Racing. Larry Birch, he's brought himself into a bit of contention for a top 3 here, but it will only be brief if he gets it, because he's going to have to pit at the end of this lap, and then order will be restored. He'll drop back behind CLR's Ghost and behind Honor. They've both been in for a pit stop. Honor actually closing on Ghost. He's closed the gap to 9.2. 5.5 ahead of the DJ Bro Hawk. He's not got long before he is coming back in for some more fresh rubber and some fuel. That'll give Wiggy a bit of a run on him. So Wiggy could, he can certainly move up to, there's potential for top 5 here for Wiggy from Black Flag, or Star Group from Black Flag. The Welsh driver closing a little bit on Brohawk in those, although Brohawk's just done a 44.8, that's a phenomenal lap from Brohawk. But he's going to have to go in the pit, so Wiggy will gain that position. That's Larry Birch into the pits. 45 seconds a gap between him and Wiggy. How long is he going to be in there for? That's the question. It is, considering when you look at the pit box where it is in comparison to the track, it is an extraordinarily long amount of time to get to the box, because you drive it down pit lane and they're right there, and then all of a sudden, like your pit crew are standing there and nothing's happening for what seems like an absolute age. So the gap to Wiggy, it's closed by 40 odd seconds, but not enough for Wiggy to get through and move up into the top 7 for now. Beardy down to 9th place. There are a lot of cars in front though still need to pit before he does. So it's very difficult at this stage. I mean, obviously you've got your clear leaders and your clear guys at the back. Nick and Jack and Gomez clearly running in front 3, and then you've got your kind of guys at the back running. But I think midfield is very difficult to judge, particularly when there's only 5 or 6 seconds in it, because there's so many differing strategies across the racetrack. Struck close-ish. Strook. Where are you from, Steve? Sydney? Stroik? It might give me a clue how to pronounce it. We are watching with Beardy at the moment. He is in the Mustang. As I said, it's quite difficult to judge where the cars are going to slot in over the next few laps. I think it's going to be another pit stop or 2 before we find out what's occurring. What's up, Bonnie Val? If anyone's wondering why I'm talking to people you can't see, it's because this is also going live on Black Flag Racing TV. The main reason it's also live there is because I can't be asked to keep turning off my channel or the Black Flag Racing TV channel when I do a broadcast elsewhere. It's a big, massive pain in my arse to do. So I'm not going to do it. So there are a few people watching over there. I did tell them to come over here so I could talk to them, but so occasionally I will talk to the handful of people there saying hello. Bonnie Val being one of them, keeping an eye, of course, on his teammate Beardy. Bonnie Val did great work in stint 1. I believe he finished in 2nd at the end of stint 1. So it's down to Wooly and Beardy to see what they can do with the car for the rest of this race. Can we have a look at the gap out front, please? Yes, we can. 52 seconds. So the question is, can Nick get the gap out to 1 whole minute? Just to give you an example of where 52 seconds sits on a racetrack like Daytona, that's turn 1 he's just coming through. Jack So It Is not even at the bus stop chicane yet. It's a massive, massive difference in between those two. Who retracted a message and what did you say? If it was a funny joke, repost it immediately. If it was an insult, definitely repost it because I like insults. Not because I'm sadistic, just because I like giving them back. Right, so yes, as I was saying, 51 seconds. Massive, massive difference. And we'll see as Jack So It Is comes up to the line. We'll show you where Nick is. So here comes Jack So It Is to the line. Boom. Starts lap 31. Nick already out of the infield and back onto that tri-oval. As the crow flies, not too far apart. As the track goes, huge, huge difference. There is Gomez. He is 59 seconds behind Jack at the moment. 1 minute 51 behind Nick. There's actually a lap's difference between these cars almost. Yeah, nothing in it before it's going to be pretty darn soon. I mean, you can see there is already a lap in it between them with that 1 minute 51. The Ghost, he's running really well. The CLR cars have both been running really well, just outside that top 3, and they're not lurking without intent either. The gap to Gomez only 15 seconds. We are fast approaching the midway point in this race. 30 laps so far down of the 67 racing laps, but still plenty to race for. Still plenty of pit stops to be had. So considering that the gap is already coming down, the Ghost at the moment lapping in the very consistently 46.1s. Gomez in the 46.5, 46.2. It's ever edging closer. As DJ Brohawk jumping into the pits from 6th position. That'll promote Larry Birch and Stargroup. You can see Stargroup there really putting the hammer down now to close on Larry Birch. The gap is 1.3. Let's go. No, I want that one. That's the one I want. I need to put, like, you know, like when a child has a piano, you have to write the notes on the keys for them. I should have little pictures of the car view on my keyboard keys. So yeah, Honour's time is impressive. You're right. That's from 44.7 is a phenomenal lap. I'm sure he had a little bit of slipstream help there, but yeah, phenomenal lap, helping him stay in that top 5. But we're watching at the moment Wiggy closing down on the back of Larry Birch. His last lap, Wiggy's last lap that is, was a very respectable 1:46.1. It does say on the steering there 1:46.9. He didn't do that, did he? 1:46.4 it says on his steering wheel. That was did that a couple of laps ago, but certainly not on the last lap. Larry Birch with a 1:47.0. So he is reeling him in quite significantly, really closing to within that 1 second gap. And you can see how quickly the American driver is getting sucked towards the front of that Porsche 911. Now, we know the Porsche doesn't have the high end it needs round here, really. But you can see, look, through the bus stop chicane, so much more manoeuvrability in that MR car. And, you know, the more the fuel burns down, the more manoeuvrable that car becomes. Until, of course, it starts to get empty, because of where the fuel tank sits, it can then make the back end quite twitchy. So you kind of want to run the 911 with a little bit of fuel in the car to get the most out of it. But high revs as we come down to turn 1. The gap now under 1 second. Can the nimblicity, is that a word? The nimbleness, the subtleness of this Porsche through the infield section close the gap onto the back of the Apex driver, and then put the frighteners up him when they head down to the bus stop chicane here on lap 32. If you are just joining us, where the bloody hell have you been for the last 4.5, 5 hours? And why have you not been here? And lots of other, let's hear the excuses. This is the Bolex Daytona 6 hour, brought to you by the International Racing Organisation. This is stint number 3 of the 6 hour race. Nick from Race Asylum currently leads by about 100 years over Jack, so it is. But we're currently on board with Stargroup of Black Flag, who is chasing down Larry Birch for a place inside the top 6. Strook. Is that it? Strook. Is that how you pronounce it? There's a strook. Luke about this hook. Right. Half a second as he goes down to the bus stop. He's moved into the... Now, anyone questioning that's watching and doesn't understand why he just did that, he was in the slipstream of the car in front. The reason he pulled out of the slipstream like he did there was because it would massively change the braking point going into the bus stop chicane and risk a potential accident. So he jumped out of the slipstream just to slow that gain, so he can keep his braking point where it is, get his movement through there nicely, and obviously make sure he gets quite a good exit. We will have a look at Honour in a minute, because Honour is going super quick. But we do have a potential overtake here into turn 1. Wiggy has a little look up the inside. No knock, he's not close enough that time to make a move, but he is ever closer, knocking on the back door. Yeah, breaking this. Yeah. To be fair, I know that most of you guys know that, but there might be someone watching that doesn't, and they're like, this guy knows his stuff, man. This guy's like that Brohawk guy and the guy before him, Jager. He knows what he's talking about. Listen, I know very little, but the stuff I do know, I'm going to bang on about it to make sure that you know that I know shit. I do know things. Basically, I've got the same life motto as Tyrion. Is it Tyrion Lannister? What's the little guy's name? That little Lannister dude. Is I drink and I know things. I should know it really. I was quite obsessed with Game of Thrones at one time. Oh, not a great exit there. Almost went Wiggy's Wiggler out of the road section. That's given Larry Birch a breather. Back end stepping out of that porch of the Porsche, and we nearly lost the Welshman to the wall. So he's got to do that hard work again for a lap or two. So let's go and have a look at Honor, because Honor's been super quick. Look at those lap times, 44.4. Now from Nick, he's just not long nicked the fastest lap, excuse the pun, off of Honor. But Honor run at 44.7, 44.8, pretty much straight after that. And now running in the very solid low 45.2, 45.2. Spot on. Very consistent grouping. And he's closing the gap on Ghost at some significant rate. It turns into a school lesson with Strook's name. I got it right. Usually when someone corrects me on the name, I still get it wrong for a little while. But I think because it's been over-debated for so long. I'll tell you what, though, you've spelled it wrong. I'm joking, man. 3.7 seconds the gap to Ghost. We're going to come back to this in a minute, because I think we're going to see Honor taking this before long. If you can, before the pit stops. Of course, Ghost will be able to stay out longer, so it could be another moot point. The fastest man on the track at the moment with a 44.4. Now, we know we've already previously had a 44.4 in one of the previous races. Interesting that he's car number 44 and he's on a 44.44. He's going to pit at the end of this lap. Low on fuel at McLaren. McLaren very good until the tyres run out, really. But he's very good low on fuel, very well performing, quite well balanced. As he heads round, that's Pastina Calder DCT, to lap him yet again. Lap 36 of 67 racing laps here at Daytona for the first event for the International Racing Organisation, and it is the only event of 2023, but plenty coming up for the IRO in 2024. So watch this space, folks. After this, we've got a little break. If you want to see some more racing tonight, there is the next round from GT Alphas live from Laguna Seca. The two races there, sprint followed by the feature race there in the GT Alphas World Championship. And then tomorrow we're back with GT Fusion the next level GT Fusion World Team Championships. Should call them by their right name. They are paid by their sponsors to use that name. That's a penalty for Nick. If you're going to serve it on a lap when you're pitting. It's probably the least amount of cost to you. Not really going to benefit Jack, so it is so much. I thought we were going to see Nick peeling off. We are seeing Nick peeling off into the pits. Is Jack going to follow him? No, Jack is going to continue around. But I think he's too far away now to get any benefit from that. 58 seconds was the gap as he came through. But I imagine it's going to be a little bit smaller than that by the time Nick's back out on the track, is it not? A minute back to Gomez. The Ghost hasn't closed that 15 seconds on Gomez yet. But is it more because his concern is in his rear view mirror? Because he looks back across his wing, and that is the front of his teammate Honor going pretty darn quickly for Team Full Send. I thought it was the CLR. I get confused. They've got too many names, these bloody teams. Can't you just be like this team 1 and this team 2? It's bloody annoying. There is Honor, of course. Also from Team Full Send or CLR. He's got him in his sights. I think the problem is he just hasn't closed the gap enough to capitalise before it's time to go pitting. And we will, because we've got a pit window coming up now. Booyah, that's where we're at. So you can see there, his tyres almost given up. He's only probably got a lap. Or he's probably got 2 laps of fuel, but with the tyres looking as they are, He'll more than likely pit at the end of this lap. What do I know? He might not. Larry Birch. He's held off the charge of Star Group for some time. It's still at 0.8 of a second. Last 4 laps for him have all been within 4/10. In fact, last 5 laps, 4/10 of a 1:46. And he's just done a personal best. Wiggy behind. He's dropping out. He dropped out into the 47s, down into the 45s. Struggling a little bit with consistency. He's finding pace. It's Team CLR Full Send, okay. To give it its full and correct name. I like Full. That's quite a good name, Full Send. I like that. I'd like to think that I would have the balls to shout that when going to bed with my missus, but I would be killed. If anyone wants to film themselves doing that and then getting beaten up by their wife afterwards, please feel free to send it to me. I would love to see that footage. Anyway, moving swiftly back to the racing. Wiggy needs to find a few tenths here, but he's going to go into the pits instead. Probably a wise choice because he was running out of fuel anyway. Give up with the correction. Butchering every word or name is more entertaining. If you want me to talk, to be fair, don't encourage me to talk gibberish. I already do. Yeah, I'm sure it is more entertaining. Adrian Blue. See what I did there? Boom, boom. It's like I'm a professional comedian without any of the skills. Lost my button. There it is. There's your race leader. The gap, 22 seconds. He has just pit, of course. So he's on fresh racing soft tyres and some nice fresh fuel. Sharp, Steve. Jack, so it is. Hasn't pit yet. He's still got a couple of laps left before he has to do his next pit stop. Be interesting to see once they're a couple more pit stops in each. I think then we'll get a better picture of where that 40-second gap that Nick started with has panned out. Neither of them, to my knowledge, have run the hard compound tyre yet. They still need to do that. Jack so is going to have more stops on the stints, more stints on the softs than Nick because he's running lots of medium tyres. We know that Gomez in third doesn't have to run any hards, but he is going to have to run some medium stints. He's a good 1.5 minutes behind the leader. I don't think leaving out technical issues or a massive brain fart that puts him in a wall. It's going to be very difficult to see past Nick and Jack, so it is for the top two at the end of this race. Anything can happen. Of course, it is motor racing, but I think as he stands, I think we can resign ourselves to the fact that Gomez is fighting to remain on the podium. His fight is not with those cars ahead. His fight is going to be with Ghost, and whether Ghost can find some pace behind to close up that gap. It's been 15 seconds for quite some time. His teammate is dropped down to 6th, but that's because he's been in the pits and he's put on some juicy soft tyres. 8.6 seconds to Larry Birch. He himself's on the softs, but he's going to have to pit quite a lot sooner than Honor. But I imagine with the pace that Honor's been showing, particularly on fresh softs, it won't be long before Larry Birch is going to have to try and defend from him, let alone worry about him passing him when he pits. Beardy McBeard. So beardy that they named it twice. He's 7.5 behind Honor. 2.1 ahead of Brohawk. Is Brohawk in a position to be closing that gap down? I hear you cry. Well, he was at one stage running in those mid 46s. Now dropping out to low 47s. You subbed just to be called Adrian Blue. Are you the one that stayed in bed until stupid o'clock when you were supposed to be racing? While we watched DJ Brohawk close on Beardy 1.8 seconds. Come on, are you the one? I know one of you was. I know someone called Blue was supposed to be racing. Was it you? Banana Boy. If he was the one that slept in, he should be called Sleepy Weepy Boy. Little tired boy. Different Blue. Oh, good. Okay. I did think it wasn't Adrian Blue, but you never know. You never know. People have many accounts on YouTube. I often lose track of who's who. Sometimes during a race, you know, we got 14 people in here. I'll often go, what the fuck's he doing in here? And it turns out he's been there the whole time. Surprise! Hamza 3.3 behind Brohawk. There is a potential battle later on, I think. RCLR Blue doesn't do that kind of stuff, or does he? Adrian! We hear you cry as DJ Brohawk makes the battle cry as he makes the move on the back of Beardy. He's crawling all over the back of Amigos in a way that's not going to be all that comfortable for Beardy. What chair feels weird? Oh, that's why. Hang on. Need to adjust my chair. It's got all odd. Talk amongst yourselves. I told you my kids were fucking around on my computer today. And they've messed with everything. There we go. Feels like my chair now. It's got my arse shape back in it. He was getting close to making a move, so I had to do it because my chair was going to collapse on me. I have a collapsible chair so I can move out of the way for times. Anyway, moving swiftly on. He is about to make the move this time. He's got a great run out of the bus stop chicane. He got up the inside. Surprised actually that Beardy didn't try and defend the inside there to go into turn one. But a great move by my brother from another mother, the commentator from stint number 1, DJ Brohawk, on his UK account, of course. I don't know why I brought that screen up. Great racing from him, showing some phenomenal pace. So Beardy dropping down to 8th position. There is going to be a battle, I think. We've got Hamza there on the softs. We've got, he's running in the high 46s, low 47s, with Wiggy behind him, sort of firmly now in those mid 46s, but with better tyres and better fuel. We could potentially, you heard what all the way to the bathroom. You could potentially see a battle between those two as Wiggy closes that gap. Hansa goes into the pits. Beardy's going to have to pit at some stage. We could be looking at a quite decent midfield battle here involving possibly Brohawk, but certainly Beardy, Hansa, Wiggy. Don't know if Pastina's going to have the pace to close. I mean, Pastina on the soft times is doing 45.9s. No slouch is Pastina, despite the fact he's in a car that at every corner is looking for ever-increasingly inventive ways to kill you. Now then, Taniki. Have you noticed, Strook, how I haven't fucked up anyone else's name? I don't think. I think it's Taniki. Taniki 123. Or Taneka. I suppose because he's Belgian, it might be Taneka. He's 15.9 behind Pastina Caldo. He's got Albuquerque quite some way away. In fact, the distance between Tanika from Belgium and Albuquerque from NRT, the Portuguese driver, is about the same distance it is from Belgium to Portugal anyway. We'll give or take a mile or two. And behind Albuquerque, there is Total Wolf, not the real one, who has actually closed that gap a little bit. The gap between them at one stage was 25 seconds. It's now 18 seconds, but running well in 13th and 14th, the two NRT drivers. And there's your race leader. Just under 1 minute. Is the gap at the moment. Bear in mind that the pit, you should pronounce your name as if you are a cow. Well, if I was a cow, I wouldn't be able to form words like letters like S, so I would just say moo. But so your name is Strook. There we go. Stroke. I still prefer stroke because it sounds like something pleasurable. Again, not the one with the droopy face. Right, he has got the gap to 1 minute now. Jack has pit. It is deceiving, that 1 minute gap, because their pit stops are out of sequence. Jack has now gone for those hard compound tyres. Nick on the softs at the moment. The question is, Jack going to run them just for the one lap, as many people have done, or is he actually just going to use them for a full stint? That'll be interesting to see, because I think I've made my feelings clear on this. Using a mandatory tyre you don't particularly like for one racing lap, I think is stupid. If you're going to do that, you might as well not have a mandatory tyre at all. There might as well, but you know, if you're going to have a mandatory tyre, you have to use it for a mandatory set period of time. Particularly on races this long, you know, if it's a 6 or 7 lap race, then people are probably not going to be quite so keen to use it, to ditch it after one lap. But I think when you're looking at a race of this kind of size, 67 laps, if you say to them you can use the racing hard, you've got to use the racing hards, but you only have to use them for one lap, they will only use it for one lap. He's made it worse. Strook. Well, to be fair, he could have just accepted the way we pronounced his name and shut up. But he's made a big thing about it all day. So now his name is just going to get absolutely butchered for the rest of time until he changes it to UrbanPyrate's pitch. And when he does that, I'll say it absolutely perfectly without fucking it up once. I promise. So Nick he's doing the job. And I think, you know, we're on lap 44 or 67. I think once we hit sort of lap 50, 51, 52, when we're starting to see the penultimate pit stops, I think then we'll start to see that gap between Nick and Jack be a little bit more representative of where we stand, in particular with pit strategy. Gomez, the gap has come down quite a lot actually to 32 seconds to Jack, but you also have to consider that he is towards the end of his soft stint here. He is going to have to pit again soon, and I'm actually a little bit concerned for him. We've got Larry Birch going to pit as well. Honor is running really well. We know how well Honor's been running. He's managed to squeeze past his teammate the Ghost actually, which is he's been trying to do for some time. Been trying to get past the Ghost. He is now ahead of him, although fuel wise, pit stop wise, the Ghost has a slight edge maybe. Let's get rid of that for a little while. He has a slight edge, but Larry Birch ahead, currently running in 45 seconds is the gap to the top three. He held those syllables so long, I thought he was having a stroke. To be fair, right, I drink too much, I smoke too much, I eat too much. The fact that I've made it to this age and not had one is a fucking miracle, to be fair. And the fact that I get corrected all the time on how to say people's names. I'm looking forward to actually seeing. I'm going to put my neck out here. Look, it's lap 43 of 67 in this final stint here for the Bolex Daytona 6-hour. But I think Honor is a really, really good. If there were odds available, I think a cheeky fiver on that Canadian driver to nick a top 3 spot wouldn't be a bad bet. He's, 47 seconds currently off third. He's been showing some phenomenal pace. Not quite the 44.44444 that Nick's been chucking in, but very respectable 44.7 from him earlier and low 45s. Oh, come on, Ost, I haven't prepared for a dead. I'll drop one in a bit. To be fair, I peaked with my racing snail joke yesterday. That's literally the pinnacle of my brilliance. I've just been handed 5 chicken selects and half a box of 20 chicken nuggets, and I think he might be the favourite of my 5 children. In fact, I might have the other 4 put up for adoption and just keep that one. If I can make some money on the black market, that is. Always knew he was my favourite. I haven't eaten today, so I'm a bit hungry. Right. It's the longest it's taken me to eat a nugget in my entire life. Let's have a look down the around the midfield. The gap is slightly smaller between Pastina and Stargoo and between Pastina and Hamza. So Pastina is finding some pace, but he's going to have to find a shit ton with 46 seconds. Yeah, come on, Ost. Give us a dad joke. So rude of me eating, isn't it? I'm loving it. You mean eating again, you cheeky bastard? I haven't eaten all day. When someone hands you free food, you don't say no thank you, please leave it in the kitchen, I'll eat it when it's fucking cold. You say thank you very much, and you munch that shit like you fucking paid for it. Right. Did you hear that two old ladies were flashed in the park this morning? One had a stroke and the other one couldn't reach. Very good. If we're going to make jokes about a stroke, right? Apparently, if a woman drinks 2 glasses of wine a day, there's a very good chance that she'll have a stroke. So I say give her 2 fucking bottles because she will definitely suck it. You don't microwave McDonald's, man. It's already been microwaved once. You fucking mental. That's carcinogenic, that shit. Right, there's your leader, Nick, from Jack So It Is. We're still waiting to see how that pans out. Jack So It Is has stayed on those hard tyres for more laps than you would have thought. So credit to you, doing the right thing, which is staying on the mandatory tyres for some length of time. Clearly got a strategy in mind. You're not running second in a 6-hour race in the final stint if you haven't got your strategy absolutely nailed on ready. Gomez 32 seconds back, but I genuinely think that Honor can do something with that 44-second gap. Bear in mind, Gomez is going to be pitting. Excuse me. I think he'll probably pit this lap, to be fair. I'm looking at his tyres, I'm looking at his fuel. I think he'll pit this lap. So I think we'll see a change in the top 3 very shortly. It would be, obviously, it would be absolutely ideal for the Team Full Send driver, Honor, the Canadian too, the only Canadian actually running in this race, he is, isn't it? Just wanted to check, yeah, he is the only Canadian running in this 6 hours of Daytona. If he can get this done without having to make the overtake on the racetrack and take anything out over of his tyres or engine or fuel or anything like that, then that would be ideal. Obviously, it depends on how long the Gomez intends to spend. Or is it Gomes? While we're talking of names, I'm assuming it's Gomez because he's Portuguese, but that's a really, really lazy stereotype, isn't it? Really, really lazy. It could be Gomes. It could be Gomes. Could be Gook. Sorry, Stroke. Sorry. I had to take it back down. You already know how Paddy's gone today, which is why you're asking. And I don't want to talk about it. Jay? Quite simply, I don't want to talk about it. You can stick your Saudi money up your ass, is all I'm going to say about that scenario. Yeah, very embarrassing for my favourite team. Hang on. I'm trying to see where Baz is going with this. So she asked God why. The man replied before God and said, I stepped on a duck. Ah, okay. I know that joke. That's the punchline to a very, very funny joke. I do like that. It's quite long though. Quite long to type out. I'm not saying it though. Why not? Why do I not want you to ask that question? Or why not talk about it? Because it was fucking disastrous. That's why. Right. What are we looking? So Hamza's looking for a top 7. Is that what you think? So 17.9 seconds to Pro Hawk. Gotta say, that's awesome consistency there in those mid to low 47s. Really, really awesome. As he chucks a half-cold chicken select in his gob. He's going to pit here, which is going to open that gap right out. But we know Bro Hawk's going to have to pit in a couple of laps himself. So that is going to be a straight chase down of 18 seconds. I don't think you can count Wiggy out at this stage. Stargroup, very, very capable driver, and does seem to come to his own towards the end of races. Certainly starts to find his pace and find his rhythm. And it's only 11 seconds, and he doesn't have to pit for a while. I think that Bro Hawk and Hamza might have a little bit of battle there on their hands at the moment. Larry Birch in, Gomez in. This is interesting. So where does Honor slot? Just behind. 1.9, 2 seconds behind Gomez. So this changes things for Honor, because Honor was super quick before. Let's you know, we're not beating around the bush here. He was quick before. He couldn't see the back of the car he was chasing for so long. Now it's right there. He can see the tail lights of the car he is chasing down. And that gives you, there's an extra couple of tenths in that. Absolutely ready for you. You can see it. You can see your prize. And look at how he's eating into that time. He's going to be within that 1 second glory hole. Probably the wrong choice of expression, but I'm going to run with it. Let's run with it. He's going to be within that 1 second glory hole now, and they're heading to the bus stop chicane. Both onto the brakes. He's going to have wonderful slipstream as they exit this bus stop chicane. If they both get it right, they have both got it right. He's going to slot in now under that rear wing and start to reel in the Portugueser. Slowly, slowly, catchy monkey, they say, but these two are doing it rapidly. Honor absolutely chasing down this gap. Is he close enough to make the pass into turn one? Is Gomez going to cover the inside? He's trying to, but he leaves a big enough gap. Through goes Honor. Does he make the move stick? Into the turn one braking zone we go. It's still not over yet. Side by side the racing goes. Round and round the track. Honor takes third, as I predicted. Pay me my money, bookmakers, because I had this one absolutely nailed on. Honor has been on fire. He's been going to the Evo school of let's get this shit on. And he makes it up into the top three. Of course, we've still got other pit stops to look at. Gomez is going to retake that position with pit strategy. He's running, of course, on the medium compound tyres. Shall we have a little look at tyres? Let's have a little look at tyres. So here, look. Here's the situation for Nick. Nick's on the racing softs. He's going to pit end of this lap. We know that. I'm going to have to move the numbers because you can't see all of them. I didn't account for races that were this freaking long, to be fair, when I made the box. Jack, so it is on the racing hard still. He's actually run those for a full stint, and credit to him, because a lot of people didn't run very long on those hard compound tyres. The man of the race at the moment, Honor, he has absolutely closed down that gap to third. When he had to chase down his teammate first, remember? He was behind Ghost for so much of this race, eating into that time. But he's closed down, I say teammate, they're running as separate teams, but you know what I mean. Closed down that gap to Gomez and taken the lead. He's on the racing softs. He's going to have to pit in a few laps. And certainly another pit stop after that. Gomez, though, fresh mediums. He's going to have a nice little long run. So he will regain third. But whether he regains it on the racetrack permanently, that's another matter. What you gain in the pit stops could always change in another pit stop. There is the Ghost. That's Honor's teammate. He's 5.4 behind Gomes. Now, he's on the racing softs, and currently running in those mid 145s. Gomez in the 47.3s. I think he could find that both Team Sen drivers, or Team Full Sen drivers, could be past him before he thinks about his pit strategy. That could be a bit of a disaster for him. He's been running in third for so much of this race. You can always tell when I'm stuffing a nugget in my face. That was a chicken select. And my missus just bought a big bag of shopping home, which I've probably paid for. Typical. Right, 38 seconds. That's a gap to Star Group. He's ahead of Larry Birch, who's been in the pits. He's ahead of Brohawk. He's been in the pits. He's ahead of Hansa. He's been in the pits as well. Now, his job now is to open up that gap as much as possible. He's going to have to pit in a couple of laps himself, but he's going to want to open that gap as quickly as possible, as much as possible, just to negate the loss when they come back on through. But currently top 6, and let's stop the race there. Black Flag had a great day. We'll all applaud. Everyone will be happy. See you later. Just to clarify, I call it the 1 second glory hole, because when you're in it, you're closer to happiness. No, see, I've got 7 nuggets in a box on one side, and I've now got 4 chicken selects in a box on the other. To be fair, I didn't even ask him to get me anything, so the fact he did was an honour. There we go, talking of honour. Down in the lower reaches of the race, we've still got the 2 NRT guys running in 13th and 14th. That gap is a lot closer between them, 8.4 seconds now between Albuquerque and his teammate Toto Wolff, not the real one, for Loose Moose Racing. 8.5 seconds is the gap, and he's picking up a little bit of slipstream from one of the cars that has lapped him, so that will help him a little bit in closing the gap on Albuquerque. Tanuki, 53 seconds up the road, currently running 46 seconds behind Pastina of DCT. Sorry, everyone's coming in through the door with big bags of shopping. Beardy in the top 10 still as Albuquerque goes into the pits, so that'll see his teammate come on through without too much difficulty. Pastina on those medium compound tyres, just under half a tank of fuel. He's got 1.9 seconds to gain on Beardy. Beardy on those softs with a bit more fuel to run. So if Beardy can hold him off, which I'm certain he'll try and do, although he's running in the 148.8, 148.9 for him at the moment. Pastina running on the medium tyres in the 46s. So Beardy's going to need to find a little bit more pace on those softs if he wants to keep the Italian driver behind him and stay inside that top 10. 15 seconds is the gap to Hansa. Him and Larry Birch and Brohawk and I think Stargroup are all going to have their own little battle for 6th come the end of the race. Wiggy is going to be the last of that little gaggle of cars to come into the pits, and in he comes at the end of lap 51 of 67 here at Daytona. So Nick's been in the pits. He's now again on the racing soft. Jack, so it is, gets rid of those hard compound tyres. The gap 41 seconds thus far as Jack just pulls into his pit box. The gap between Honor and Jack will close somewhat. Honor made that move around Gomez. It took him so long of chasing, but got the move done on Gomez. But now he's going into the pits. I reckon we're on lap 52. I think we'll see him come in probably the end of lap 53, looking at those tyres and looking at the wear. You got a tag on. Have you stolen something from a shop? My wife is a thief. There's a security tag on something. Called a popo. I'll cut it. Well, I'll just cut it off later.
Oh, I could just cut the tag off.
Yeah, just cut the tag off. And then put it in an old lady's bag. Yeah, take the tag off and put it in an old lady's bag next time you go shopping.
Yeah, but I didn't beat when I come out.
Oh. Must have been deactivated. Look at me planning to have an old lady arrested for shoplifting when she didn't do anything right. Okay, 1 minute 19 seconds. That's the gap. I said that it would right itself after a few pit stops, but it just seems the gap just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So maybe that's just because the gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger between these two. Is Jack going to resign himself to second? Is he going to say, look, I've done everything I've given everything I've got, and Nick is just absolutely demolishing me? Or is there a game plan here? Does he know that he's still got something up his sleeve to close that gap? As far as I remember, Nick still has to run those hard compound tyres. We know they're not super duper quick, unless of course they're in the hands of Jack, so it is. On those hard compound tyres, he was comfortably in those high 46s quite consistently. So that, if Nick can run in there, of course it's going to make a massive difference. On the soft compound tyres, of course, Nick has put in the fastest lap, I think, of the day with a 1:44.8. If it's not the fastest of the day, it's pretty damn close. And I think this certainly makes up for everything that went wrong for him yesterday in the team versus team. There is Honour. He is going to pit, and he might have another lap. Personally, I wouldn't. I think I'd come in. Yeah, I think he's got one stop left. I think they... do the softs go that long? You say, Jack, you're confident Jack's going to the end on the softs with the fuel he's got. We're on lap 54 of 67. So, if Nick is... Well, if he has got one more stop to go, I think that's going to be for hard compound tyres. So when does he make that stop? Does he make that stop once the softs go off? Or does he jump in early? Now, we know that if Jack, so it is, can do high 46s on the hard compound tyres, there's no reason why Nick surely can't be putting in similar times on the hards in the McLaren with that kind of performance. So the question is whether he, while the gap is at 1 minute 19 seconds, is dive into the pits. We'll see. We will see. So Ghost up to fourth. But if we're looking at Gomez, I think Gomez is running to the end on those mediums. Very distinct possibility. I think he might be a bit squeaky bum on fuel, but the tyres will certainly take him to the end. Ghost will have to pit again. So we know that both Honour and Ghost have got to pit. So Gomez will get back up into third. The question, of course, is whether he's able to keep that position. Another cheeky nugget down the hatch. So this is the other battle we're potentially looking at forming. And I'm not going to include Pastina in this because Pastina does still need to pit. So looking at how long we've got left. I'm getting told off by McDonald's, right? You guys are my witnesses. I sat here talking to you and my son handed me random McDonald's, right? And if you say otherwise, I'm going to come to all your countries and kill you all. I'm going to change all your names on YouTube. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So this is the battle. This is Star Group, Hamza, Larry Birch, and Brohawk, which I think is going to be an interesting battle for sixth come the end of the race. Yeah, probably. I think once they got their strategy down, they kind of stick to it. Down, they're very, very regimented like that. Once they've got a strategy, they tend to not change it. So, what are we looking at essentially? Well, we know what they've got to do. We know that they. I wonder how many of these have run. Gomez is the only one that I know 100% has run the hard compound tyre because he did that lap one and he got rid of them after lap one. I've got new trainers. I'm going to look at them later. They're really good. I might tell you one. Right, so we know that Gomez has run the hard compound tyre. I cannot confirm 100% whether Brohawk, Larry Birch or Hamza or Star Group have. They may well have done. I just haven't been paying attention in all honesty. Notice I pay much more attention to my chicken selects than I do to whether people running hard tyres. But looking at lap times, so Wiggy's just done 46.4. That's on fresh softs with the thought of running to the end. Hamza has just done a personal best of a 46.6. Larry Birch, 46.5 for him, but he has gone faster. Brohawk, he's looking the raciest of them all at the moment, 45.4 for him. So essentially, if Brohawk can keep up this kind of pace, the trainers are not stolen, it was a teddy bear. I'm sure the trainers were paid for.
What?
They said stolen trainers.
What did you do?
She didn't steal the trainers, she stole a teddy bear.
They never stole a teddy bear.
Right, anyway, as I was saying, Brohawk, with lap times in those mid 45s, if you can maintain that kind of pace, then the battle for 6th is really over, and it's going to be a battle for 7th between Larry, Hamza and Wiggy. They've got some work to do yet to improve if they want to catch Brohawk. So we reckon that Nick is going to do the one lap wonder with the hard compound tyres at the end. Excuse me. It's 1 minute 21. It's a lot of work for Jack to do. I think Jack has just got to make sure that gap behind, which is currently 39 seconds, stays that way. We know that Ghost still has to pit. Honor's now been in. Now he's got hard compound tyres to run. That, I think, is going to be a bit of a hindrance for him, because we know Gomez doesn't have to run those hard tyres. So that answers that question. Honor hadn't run the hard tyres yet. But thanks for all you full send guys that were keeping in the loop. Thanks. Do you just want to take the nuggets?
Yes.
Do you just want to take my select?
No.
See why I love that child much more. He bought me free McDonald's and didn't even talk about it. The rest just want to eat mine.
Oh my god, watch this. Move.
What are you doing?
Make me space.
I haven't got any space. Oh great, copyright infringement, thanks.
Oh, sorry.
I do apologise to YouTube world for my missus in putting a copyright infringement of the Ghostbusters theme tune in a stupid dancing ghost. Talking to Ghost, where is he? There he is. He's in 3rd. But yeah, he does have to pit. He's going to pit, well, I think, end of this lap. Giving himself 10 laps to the end. Now, if he has to run the hards as well, that could change the complexion of this race for 3rd. I did have Honor as a shoe-in for 3rd, but now if he's going to run to the end on those hard compound tyres, it's going to be really, really difficult for him to maintain the same kind of crazy pace that we saw from him, particularly in the second half of this race. He's got 26 seconds on Gomez, who we know is running to the end on the mediums. It's going to be a very, very difficult job. If Ghost still has to run the hard compound tyres, then I would say it's game over for those guys, and I think it's going to be a top 3 for Gomez, and probably a well-deserved. That's not it's not a ringtone. It's a little toy ghost that when you press its hand, it spins and plays the Ghostbusters theme tune. So I don't get copyright infringed, and there are many, many other ghost-related films available. Anyway, so I thought we could start. I think we could start making some predictions for the end of this race. We've got 10 laps to go. We're into the last, essentially, few minutes of this race after 6 hours of racing. I think you're absolutely spot on, Adrian. I think we need to get. And that's what we didn't do. We didn't get Jager singing this time. But I think we need to get Jager singing. In the next event, we'll have him singing the Ghostbusters theme tune. Right, so I think we can say without much doubt, this race is going to go to Nick. He was given a 40-second advantage to start the race with, but he's built on that advantage quite significantly. He will have to stop and put on a set of hard tyres to run, which he'll run for 1 lap at the end. But essentially, he's going to be 55 seconds clear by the time he finishes this race. Jack, so it is, came out in 2nd and has run really well. I mean, he's run a brilliant race. Yeah, I mean, he's run a brilliant race. But, you know, when the guy you're chasing down has been so consistent and putting in lap times like that 44.448, which has just been a phenomenal lap time, it's very, very difficult for you to do anything other than just admire how good it was and just race your race and just hope the guy behind can't catch you. Right, Ghost is in the pits. That'll promote Gomez back to third. And it's quite interesting, actually. You look at the top three. First is the guy that runs all the race and then uses the last lap for the hard compound tyres. The guy in third opted to go the other way around. He ran his first lap on those hard compound tyres and then got rid. Then he could just get on with the racing. My feelings aside on doing that, we'll ignore it for now. It's brilliant that the two different strategies seem to have worked very well for the two drivers in different ways. Jack, so it is, he ran quite a long stint on those hards. Now you asked the question. I mean, if had he decided to pit after one lap and gone back onto the racing softs or gone onto the mediums, the grippier tyre, the tyre with the better cornering, the better torque, the better gearing through the corners, the better braking, would that have improved his lot significantly enough? And I don't think so. I think Jack was significantly quick on those hard compound tyres that had he run just one racing lap on them, that it actually wouldn't have had that much benefit in terms of time. If you think about the time lost going into the pits and making the change and all that kind of thing associated with it, I don't think he would have gained significantly enough by doing it that way. So his pace on those hard tyres was absolutely phenomenal. And I think you do need to commend that performance, because I don't think anybody has put in times like that on the hard compound tyres, with or without big fuel loads. Gomez, yeah, I think we're quite safe in assuming that it's going to be very difficult for Ghost to close that 23 seconds on the hard compound tyres with just 7-8 laps remaining of this race. On a valiant effort to close down not only his teammate, but to get up into third position. I still think that 2.4 second gap to his teammate, I think there's a fourth on the cards for Honor here, a really good opportunity for fourth. Ghost is going to have his wits about him. We look at Ghost's last lap. Well, we haven't seen what his hard tyre pace is quite like yet, but Honor is clearly in those low 47s comfortably, and only 2.3 seconds back. For me, I think Honor has got what it takes to get past his teammate and take fourth. That'll be Ghost in fifth. Well, you asked teamwork to do what? There is, you could, I suppose, bump draft him along. There's 7 laps remaining. The gap is 24 seconds, and the car they're chasing down's on racing mediums. I think they're in a position now where all they've got to do is make sure that Brohook on the softs doesn't catch them. So from that respect, yeah, there does need to be a little bit of teamwork. I think Honor will catch Ghost. I think what needs to happen then is that they need to stay close together and ensure that Brohawk doesn't close that 7.1 seconds. He's a couple of seconds a lap faster than them, so it's still within catching distance. So don't count my commentary colleague out of this yet. I don't know. I think, looking at how Honor's run this race so far, and Ghost, I think that they have enough about them to keep Brohawk behind. But you're right. I mean, there is going to need to be an element of teamwork. But it's whether they, essentially though, by working together, what they've got to ensure now is that if they're prepared to work together, they've got to accept the fact that Ghost has beaten Honor. And I think on balance of performance over the 6 hours, of course, Ghost deserves to be there. But I think if you just look at this race on its face value, I think Honor has put in an absolute phenomenal performance. And, if I were giving out team orders, my team orders would be for them to change places. But then that's the other thing as well. If Honor is significantly faster than Ghost, and they are being chased down by Brohawk at 2 seconds a lap, you want your faster car at the front. So that if one of your cars, you can use one of your cars essentially as a blocker. So he can hold up Brohawk for a bit and let the other car disappear. Because if the faster car is held up behind his teammate, which is a distinct possibility, you could end up losing both positions because they're holding each other up to an extent. If you allow the faster of the two cars to go through, then we'll see. But no, it has been an absolutely phenomenal race. So I think Brohawk, 6th is nailed on for him now. There's a question mark of whether he can catch Honor or maybe even Ghost and get himself into the top 4. But top 4 still not out of the question for Brohawk on those soft compound tyres. I thought this was going to be a better battle towards the end between Larry Birch, Hamza and Wiggy. I think the problem is, of course, that they're lapping at such similar paces. You've got Larry Birch from the United States. He's in those low to mid 146s, as is Hamza. They're all on the soft compound tyres. Wiggy, though, again, low 46s, low to mid 46s. He is 3.3 behind Hamza. That is a catchable gap. Absolute catchable gap. So don't count him out yet. He's got a blue flag to contend with very shortly. That shouldn't compromise his race too much. Beardy has held that car on into the tail end of this race, into the top 10. There is a bit of concern over the state of those tyres now as we make this final run, and you can see there that his right rear, it's going to be screaming blue murder in a couple of laps' time. It's whether he can make it to the end and hold Pastina at bay. Pastina Racing 4 DCTs on the hard compound tyres, so he's going to be lapping in those low 48s, high 47s, which is you know, it's going to make it difficult for him to catch the 26 seconds of Beardy, unless of course Beardy has to go in to the pits. Looking at Tanuki. These three have run 12, 13, 14 for the entire race. Albuquerque and Toto Wolff swapped places a few times, but a valiant effort all the same. You know, they made it through qualifying and made it to this race and absolutely deserved to be there. The Belgian driver, 43 behind Pastina. 12th is his. He's been nailed on his since probably about lap 2 or 3 in all fairness. Albuquerque and Toto Wolff, they've got other ideas. Albuquerque on the racing soft tyres. Toto Wolff, not the real one, on the racing soft tyres. Separated by just half a second. It's teammate versus teammate essentially here. So they are really going to duke this out towards the final lap. Can Toto Wolff get this job done early? Is Albuquerque going to hold him off for, for the whole 7 laps remaining? They're fighting out on lap 60. Meanwhile, there is Nick on lap 64. The gap is 1 minute 22 seconds. He's going to pit for some racing hard tyres. That'll be at the end of lap 66. And then he'll have one full lap run to the line. Although technically, is it a full lap if you pit on lap 66? Because a racing lap to me is line to line. I suppose it depends where his pit box is, doesn't it? Sorry, it was select time. I did promise to let some people come and talk to me, but I never did it, did I? Apologies for that. Got a little bit too wrapped up in it all. See you later, Ray. Thanks for getting it all up and running. Right. We have no time for Nick. Why do we have no time for the guy? We did 1 minute 23. Here's Jack. I mean, it just goes to show how big the gap is. That Nick is starting lap 65. Jack, so it is pretty much just coming out of the infield on lap 64. Gomez on lap 63, 59 seconds back. There's Ghost also on lap 63. Honor's really closing on his teammate now. It's down to 1.1 seconds. But so is the gap from Brohawk to Honor. I still think that Ghost and Honor should have swapped places because Honor was looking that little bit faster. So no, absolutely going to have to work together to keep Brohawk away. Ghost is going to have to just let Honor get in that slipstream, and they're going to have to bump draft and pull each other along for the next 4 laps and try and keep DJ Brohawk behind. I don't know if they can do it in that Mustang. That Mustang's pretty darn quick in a straight line. and this is the view from his car. He can see the two targets that he's chasing down. That both drivers are there, right in his view, and he'll not catch him if he loses his back end too many times like that, and doesn't catch it back. But I guarantee you, there's ultimate concentration in Bro Hawk's car, and you've got to commend him because you've got to bear in mind he hasn't just driven for 2 hours. He did the broadcasting for qualifying and for stint number 1, and got us going today. So he's put in a fair shift today as Bro Hawk. And he's got that gap down to under a second, I think, by the time they get back onto the tri-oval. Talk amongst yourselves, I'm finishing my chicken. Right, just want to get that bit of chicken down. Right, at the moment we are 0.8 of a second behind Honor. Honor is right up behind Ghost now. Does Ghost let him through, and then they start to use that superior pace of Honor to pull him away? Or does DJ Brohawk just take them both and say, thank you very much, and goes from 6th to 4th like that? He's absolutely revving the nuts out of that McLaren. You couldn't get any more revs out of that rev counter without that needle falling off. And that is Honor making a move on his teammate. I don't think they're working as a team at all. I think these two are racing to the line. They come together, the two teammates, instead of working together to keep their rival at bay. They have a coming together in turn 1. That's put Honor out of the race. That's put Brohawk up into 5th and right up behind Ghost. What are Team Full Send thinking? They had 4th and 5th in the bag with a little bit of guile and a little bit of communication, but they decided to race to the line, and it's going to cost them both those positions, and it's going to hand it on a plate to DJ Brohawk. They could have between themselves had 4th and 5th, but they're going to throw it away so Brohawk can take 4th. He is all over the back of Ghost now. And what Honor going to be able to do is on those hard compound tyres, he's not going to be able to surely make a move on Brohawk at this stage. Although, to be fair, he was clipped by his teammate. He might be pissed. There is Brohawk up ahead. Makes the move up into 4th. That is a double whammy in the space of half a lap. And absolutely right, Adrian. That is face palm central. Face palm central to go 63 laps. Doing as well as they have done to just throw it away on for the sake of having a little race against each other. So now all he's got to do is hold them off. They're in the slipstream, so they are going to get a little bit of help on those hard tyres. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong, Fun Police. Absolutely respect that. But you've also got to think from a team perspective that, we're not talking about one race where these guys have just been by themselves. As Honor makes the move on his teammate Ghost. He does get a really good run on Brohawk, but under braking it's going to be really difficult round the outside into turn 1. He's on those hard compound tyres. If he makes this move and he gets this job done, that is kudos to him. He's got the job done there. He's on the hard compound. Goes so deep. Loses out back down to 6th. That's Ghost back up into 5th position. We are on the final lap. We don't want to miss this guy winning the race, but my God, it is absolutely going off back there for 4th, 5th and 6th. We cannot leave this battle as it stands without watching it. There's nothing going on ahead. We've been watching them sit a minute apart for pretty much 2 hours. These guys are taking it to the line. Yeah, no, I absolutely respect racing to the line, but when you've got 4 other teammates between you who've all been put 4 hours into this race and got you to the position you're in, to see you throw away 4th and 5th to fight it out against each other is it's not great. And they're still going at it. Brohawk dropping down to 5th as the Ghost makes his way up into 4th. Is Ghost going to keep 4th place here on this final lap? It won't be long before Nick's crossing the line. So we have basically a run on this final lap. Nick does take the win. A bit rude of me not to show it, but we've got to watch this battle. We can't ignore it. So Ghost has taken the 4th place. Honor has taken 5th. Brohawk back down to 6th. They may have just snatched this back. snatch defeat for victory from the jaws of defeat, actually, because they gave this away. You've got to bear in mind, though, he still has a run on this Brohawk. He still has soft compound tyres. This is a straight run to the line. It's Ghost, Honor and Brohawk after 6 hours of racing. They go through the penalty line. Is there going to be enough in the slipstream to get this move done, or is it going to stay as it is? It is going to be really, really close as we go across the line, and it is Ghost from Honor from Brohawk. Brohawk in the end couldn't get it done, and I think that was a get out of jail free for Team Full Send. Absolutely got away with that. That could have gone horribly wrong for them. So great recovery from those two. Jack, so it is. He crosses the line, takes a very, very confident second place. Larry Birch comes home in 7th. He did hold off the charge of Hamza. And Hamza has held off Star Group 1.7 seconds up to 9th he is with... did take a lot out of him in those last couple of laps. Coming into the pits, though, because why is he coming into the pits? Oh, he's won the race. He's come 9th anyway. But yeah, he looks like he's running out of fuel, so that's why he's come in as he has done. Right, there we go. Done. The race is done. How about that? That was a awesome, awesome finish. Woo! Enjoyed that. Right, what are we going to look at? We want to have a quick look at the final results. So there we have it. There it is, official from the final race. It is RA Nick in the Team 44 car. Brings it home with a fastest lap of 1:44.44, ironically, in that McLaren 650S. Jack, so it is, try as he might, could not usurp Nick and finished a minute behind. So an additional 20 seconds Nick put on after the 40 seconds he gained from the first two stints. Gomez in 3rd, the Ghost, and Honor in 4th and 5th, although I think there will be a little inquiry at Team Full Send about how that nearly went horribly, horribly wrong. DJ Brohawk, valiant effort, but could not deal with the double team action of Ghost and Honor. Larry Birch home in 7th. Hansa holds on for 8th place in that Lexus RCF. Wiggy picks up a penalty at the end there, but finishes in 9th ahead of Beardy of ART. DC Teams Pastin Canalda in that Ford GT comes home in 11th, with Tanuke in the Viper in 12th. Toto Wolff, not the real one, beats out his teammate Albuquerque in the Corvette for 13th and 14th place, and they are your results from 6 hours at Daytona. And if you haven't enjoyed the last 6 hours of racing, I defy you to turn off your PC and go and watch something like Lawn Bowls. That has been absolutely fantastic action. All I've got to say, though, is thank you very much for joining me for this incredibly mental 2 hours. Thank you, of course, to Jager for Stint 2. Thank you to DJ Brohawk, who did 2 hours of Stint 1 and then some great action towards the end of Stint 2 there. Thank you very much for joining us all. I've been UrbanPyrate from Black Flag Racing TV. This has been the international racing organisation Bolex Daytona 6 Hour. We will see you for more of this in 2024. If you want to catch more racing, you can in about an hour and a half over on Black Flag Racing TV for the next round of the GT Alphas GT3 World Championship. It's been emotional.
It's Friday night, and the drinks are on my mind. The decision sets in, one that will churn your skin. The love is right. Let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. 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 Not to stray from the path. Back and forth until the dead at hand. I'm not the one who reads true, but I'm the one who cares. Just remember what your father did. You let it go to your head. churn your skin. The lovers ride, let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. And it's worse you for what I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I'll think it's absurd. But until then, you'll leave your words. Well, lay on. Play on. Now it's time to defend your lies. The lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling. You say that you are innocent, but your ways, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies, the lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling. Have you reached your lover's end? No more. Will we make pretend like we something to fight for? Oh. We had nothing to fight for. 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 Not to stray from the path. Back and forth until the dead at hand. I'm not the one who is true, but I'm the one chasing your dreams.